Hello, everyone, and welcome back to This Week in Solar. I'm your host, Aaron Nichols, the Research and Policy Specialist here at Exact Solar in Newtown, Pennsylvania. And today we have a very special guest. It's Hervé Billiet, one of the co-founders of SunVoy. Hervé, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hey, thank you, Aaron, for having me on your podcast. So I'm Hervé. I'm the co-founder of SunVoy, a software to run and grow your solar business, where we really invest in marketing.
Great. And I know that you built a version of this software back when you were working for Ipsun Solar. Well, I know you co-founded Ipsun Solar and you owned it and then you sold it, but you must have gone through a period of frustration with software to manage a solar business. So what was the moment when you and your co-founder said, there's nothing out there that works, we need to do this ourselves?
Yeah, no. So I co-founded a solar installation business. Very
Yeah,
simple. Was in your basement. Said I wanted to do something else with my life and fight climate change. And installing solar panels is one way to do that very actively. You plug it in, produce power. It's phenomenal. The closest you get to magic.
right.
And the company grew. So once you have a few customers, like 10 customers, you know them all by name, you know their pet's name, you know everything about them. Then you grow the company, you keep hiring people, you about like 100 of installs, you start forgetting who's who. And then once you have 1,000 people or 1,000 customers, you don't remember anymore. Plus, you're not in the trenches anymore. So you have
Right.
salespeople that do the work for you. And me as a CEO of Ipsun Solar at the time, I cared so much about my branding. The branding is what differentiates you between every other installer you compete with. And you need to do something about it. It just magically happened to have a strong brand. One thing to do is having your own customer portal. Make sure you have that app in the app store that when you sell solar, the homeowner can easily track the project. Basically, you order a $20 Domino pizza, you can track it. You see when it goes in the oven, when it's being shipped. But you order $20,000 solar system, you cannot track it. That was one of the initial issues that I wanted to have resolved. And when you grow a solar company, you go from doing the work yourself to, as a CEO, always fire yourself out of so many jobs you do. You hire people that do it better and more focused on it, and you go do the other thing. And what you are building is a process. So going solar for a homeowner is a one-time thing. It's kind of unique for them. They don't buy solar every day. It's kind of unique to their house and so on. But as a solar company, you need to have a lot of solar projects happening at the same time at any moment in time. And so it's very process oriented. You have like a belt, a conveyor belt of solar projects that need to go through your business. And it's
Right.
in that conveyor belt that there were some pieces falling off the conveyor
Right.
belt, so to speak,
Yeah,
keeping
people
everything
get
on track.
impatient. They decide, we've waited too long. Maybe we don't want to go. People drop off in the process, etc.
Yeah, yeah. So you need a way to keep those homeowners informed and ideally without too much extra work. Now, obviously, you can keep hiring more individuals to do more of the work, or another option is to automate the business. Now, automation is tricky. You don't want to automate everything, and people don't want to talk to robots. I don't know about you, but I still don't like to chat with an AI bot that's not giving me the answers. I like to speak to
Totally.
humans.
Yeah.
So you need to automate parts of your business that make sense and make sure you keep your employees doing the most qualified special work that you cannot automate or you don't want to automate. So yeah, we went out. If your question was like, well, why did we get started? Like we couldn't find software that could do this white label. And I mentioned the white label because that's a key part.
Right.
I was running Ipsen Solar. I wanted to have the Ipsen Solar app, emails coming from Ipsen Solar domain, and people always seeing the same colors and so on, like 100% white label. And that didn't exist. So we built it ourselves. And then very quickly, I knew other solar CEO friends running their own solar companies. And like, if I build this for me, they're probably going to be interested. So I started building it from the beginning, white label, knowing I would resell it.
All right. Well, obviously it's a powerful tool, and white labeling is very important. If anyone's listening and doesn't know what white labeling is it means like there's a software that's running something in the background, but your company's brand is what the customer sees. And I'm interested because you mentioned branding. Um, we've seen a lot of benefits of investing in branding. And before we talk about the benefits of investing in brand for a solar company, just give me your high level overall view of what you believe brand even is. Like if someone doesn't even know what to start, where to start, what is a brand for a solar company?
Well, a brand is, I think, the perception of your company. And a lot of times it's a reflection of the CEO or the management team. So when somebody sees your brand online, digital marketing, a vehicle driving by, a flyer in the mail, a letter mentioned, just the name alone. So everything constitutes a brand and gives an impression. If I give you a couple of names, Nike or Toyota or Tesla, like those immediately evoke something to you that you associate that brand with. It can be something negative, something positive, or completely unknown. But if you the ideal is that as soon as you have a recognition of a brand, a logo, a color, anything associated with a brand that immediately triggers like, okay, that's a good brand you want to do business with. So branding is not just for businesses, but associations. You have an individual brand too. You are online, you're on LinkedIn, Aaron, you have your personal brand too. So branding is very global and is applicable in many different places.
Hmm. Yeah, I would say brand is how someone feels when they haven't talked to you yet. I think would be a good way to define it. But I am interested in as well the benefits you saw from investing in brand at Ipsun and the returns that that brought.
Oh, I can go back to the early days of running Ipsen, where I was like, how the heck do I sell something that anyone else with a hammer can also potentially do? And
Right.
that's when you have to realize a few things like, well, not everyone can do this. Not everybody wants to. I remember in the early days, I was competing with like the do-it-yourselfer. Like, okay, I did a few projects where I sold and I just guide them through on the phone how to install it. Like, I order all the materials, shipped it to them, and help them on the phone doing themselves. Um, yeah, that didn't work out. Um, but I remember very clearly how am I gonna differentiate myself? Because there were already several other solar companies in my territory. Like clearly around the corner, there's always a new one that I didn't know yet popping up. So like, how do you differentiate yourself? Branding is obviously one, but then how do you create that brand that people associate being different? Well, quickly I realized that being a B Corp makes a difference. So we
Right.
became a B Corp. And then also we became part of the Amicus network, which is like a network of premium solar companies across the US, Canada, and that allows you to start running the business in a way that is different. So in the solar industry, you have besides being residential, commercial, and utility scale, you also have companies that are vertically integrated or not. Vertically integrated means you do everything yourself. If you look from the life, uh, if you go to the life of a project, you start at a lead, somebody that's potential interested in going solar. After the lead, you need to close it. You have salespeople, you have setters, you have intake, and they come to a signed agreement. Then you have entire operations. You need to design a project, permit it, integrate, install it, and then you have post-install maintenance and commissioning and so on. And so if you are vertically integrated, everything I just mentioned to you happens in one company. But you have other solar companies that do things differently. They are not vertically integrated. You have sales orgs, they sell, and then you have labor-only companies. They don't have offices or admin, they literally have crews out there. And you have a sales org that sells, a labor-only company that goes install. They keep overhead low, so to speak. So that is a different model. But so you need to know who you compete with, and make sure your branding is going out and shows the value. I valued, for example, that my employees receive a 401k, healthcare, everything like a real employee, a real job. Not you paid cash contractor and not a long-term relationship. It's a personal thing. I thought, if I have employees, I want to make sure I take care of them. Um, which was also extraordinarily hard during COVID, where I had to realize that there are things that affect you as a business, and you cannot take care of your employees even though you want to, and so we furloughed at some point. That's a different story. But is that
Yeah.
an answer to your question so far?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, as you and I both know, the bar for investing in brand in the solar industry is pretty low. And I think, as someone who is much more of a marketing and sales guy than I am a technical person, we've we've seen so many benefits of doing it at Exact Solar. I mean, this brand just kind of snowballs and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But I think it's really hard for a small company owner who's in kind of like a survival mindset and everything's on fire and they're just trying to get through the day to actually start putting energy and time and resources towards building something that they might not see the benefits of for a year or two. So, where can someone start with building a brand, and how does SunVoy help with that?
Hmm. So at SunVoy, we build a customer portal and solar fleet management system, but we cater towards the more established, fully established solar companies. So not the smaller or two guys in a truck. The ones that just get started is 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 not going to benefit from SunVoy. In fact, we stopped selling to them altogether. We're like, we'll
Right,
help you, we give you advice, how to grow, how to start, but I will not sell you because I can SunVoy only becomes interesting for branding and management and automation if you don't remember who you sold to. If you still
right,
remember who you sold to yesterday, or you know exactly how many appointments you run yesterday, then the automation is not going to help you. It's going to slow you down. So I think your question is if you just get started, well, one place is your website. Make sure that now I build websites myself, so the first websites I'll always build myself. Love doing it as a kind of a geek stuff. Um, and so make sure you don't spend too much money on it too. Some people spend thousands of dollars a month on the actually relatively cheap website. You can go just to WordPress. Just use WordPress. Go on WordPress.com. Use a team. Just set it up. You can also do that yourself. Once you have more money, you can start asking other people to do it for you. But you can get pretty far with like Squarespace and all those other websites, platforms. So that is like the first part, like of your marketing. It's make sure you have a website that your email is working and you have an email signature. I think that's where it starts. A Google My Business page. That page is really critical. So everything you invest in marketing, at some point the goal is that that phone starts ringing and people reach out to you instead of you annoying everybody around you, your family, your neighbors, your friends,
right.
everywhere you go, every
And
party you invite.
as someone who works for a company that's at that point, I can tell you it's amazing. And it only gets better from there. And these things do compound and things, yeah, the phone does start ringing and people do
Mhm.
start calling you. But, it
I
takes a
remember
while.
that. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it. It's like, wow, they called me. And yeah, it will happen, and I hope it happens faster than you expect. That's what happened for me, and you need to be really blessed. But it doesn't happen just automatically, right? Just having a website out there does not mean you will achieve it.
Of
It
course.
takes effort. It's on what we've done for a while on Google My Business. You can put updates there every day. Every day you put a little update. That's what keeps at a time. Things may have changed now with AI taking over, where people may go less to just Google and search it. So maybe the next challenge is to make sure it's also part of AI
Yeah.
models. But so far that's not at a critical injunction yet. So make sure you please Google, you give updates, and your website is up to date.
Yeah, and we are seeing at Exact Solar as we show up more and more in AI search and we're able to attribute more people finding us through AI search that all the same things that worked for Google tend to work for AI with very subtle differences. But it's, if you have been mentioned in a lot of publications, if people locally wrote about you, if you have a lot of good reviews, if you have, good content on your website, if you have good content on your social media channels, all of that is going to help you show up in AI search as well.
Yes, and if you're just getting started and you have a website, you probably have a blog, and after a few blog posts, you probably want to like, what the heck am I gonna write next? And so here is one trick I did. Every time you answer the same question, at the third time you answer that same question, instead of sending an email to that customer that has a question, go to your website, go to your blog page, write the answer, and then to the customers, you're like, hey, we actually we happen to have the answer to your question as a blog post. Send that
That
homeowner.
looks a lot more
Yeah.
impressive, doesn't it? Then they're like,
Yeah.
oh, wow.
The end result is you'll have one more view on your website.
Mhm.
Now, if you only have 10 views, one extra view makes a difference.
Yeah.
And then you speed things up because if it's a common question, guess what? You're gonna have the question again, and instead of typing the answer once more, you just automated a part of your business. Send them
Mhm.
to that article that you wrote. That is how you need to think about like if you start doing something 2 or 3 times, at some point you need to automate it. It's anyway, that's what I did. And it
Yeah.
worked out. So you build more of your branding because then they go to your website, then they probably look around, what else is there, and then take good pictures. Take the time to take good pictures. um, Make sure that when you take a picture of the house that you just finished, that the trash is gone out of that front yard, that your van happens to be nicely positioned with your logo in it, things like that. Another thing I've done is invest in custom license plates. You can put nice vans together. My view is like less is more. Don't put like an entire wrapped van. That's too much. Like you need I bought always white vehicles with just some small lines swirls for Ipsen. That's what I liked. Also keep the cost down, but I think it was better in line with my brand. But also custom license plates. People see those license plates. Now Ipsen, it's a small world, a small word, so it fit on a license plate. But try to find something that fits on the license plate if possible, or
Mhm.
something. And so we had Ipsen, and then we had just numbers, one, two, three
Yeah.
of the amount of vehicles that we had. At some point, for myself, my personal vehicle, we bought a new vehicle. It's like, oh, which number are we? So at some point, I had Ipsen number 11. That was my, and still my license plate. So that license plate, I had countless people let me know that they saw the license plate. So little trick, it's not that expensive, and we'll pay back again and again in branding.
And I know that SunVoy helps solar companies lower their cost to acquire a customer as well. And
Sure.
I'm interested to hear more about how that works because I think the customer experience of someone who has something put on their home is so important. And the bigger a company gets, the more difficult it is to make sure that every customer has a great experience. So how does SunVoy help that problem and then therefore help lower the cost of acquiring new customers?
All right. So SunVoy is a platform where we build white label customer portals and solar fleet management systems. That's the short version. The longer version is that there are a lot of different tools that we build inside SunVoy. Again, it is meant for established solar installers. Those solar installers, they have an existing CRM. They don't feel like changing. They've been in it for many years. It's usually a Salesforce, a HubSpot, a NetSuite. It's full of like historical data and situations they don't want to switch. So what we've done is we tie in with plenty of CRMs, like 20 plus CRMs by now. So the solar installer stays in their existing tool, and we grab the information out of those tools and we display it to the homeowner. That way, the solar installer does a lot of work, projects move along, and the homeowner is informed along the way. Simple automation. How
Right.
do you bring the cost of acquisition down? Well, most solar installers are sitting on a gold mine. They just unaware of it. And that gold mine is called legacy customers. Now, most solar installers, they think like, well, we have a few angry customers. Because those ones that pick up the phone and you hear yelling, and you probably know them by name. It's always the same people that call. And so we get scared. We, as solar installers, get scared of legacy customers out there. But you have thousands, of which you have probably a handful, three, four, five, that maybe you messed up as an installer. But most installers that I know, they own up to their mistakes and they go fix it and they take care of the customers no matter what. But you have a few squeaky wheels, that you keep hearing, but you have hundreds of happy customers that you just don't really talk to. So the way to bring the cost of acquisition down is to really enable all those legacy customers, make them part of your ecosystem. And so what SunVoy can do, which is like a technical, impressive way, like we can bring all the legacy customers inside the platform. Now, legacy customers are the data is all over the place. And we also connect with all the different inverters. We have 30 plus inverter integrations. So your data is really all over the place. And we can bring all that data in one spot and make sure that those, I'm not going to say forgotten homeowners, most solar installers have some type of newsletter going out, at least the Happy New Year newsletter,
Yeah.
or the Christmas card. But it's bringing those homeowners back into your ecosystem. And why would they log into your new app? How you
Mm.
can show the savings, for example. People are interested not just in kilowatt hours, but they're interested in how many dollars they actually saved so far with going solar. So we grab their attention by we'll show you the exact savings. Once in the app, then you show the referral tool, you have an e-shop. Solar installers have more to add than just in solar panels. You can add batteries, you can add like EV chargers. Most solar companies are expanding what they are offering to customers. So to bring the cost of acquisition down, it's tell your existing customers what other service that you offer, things like that. Now, you could make an argument like, well, we can send a mass email to everyone. Like, yeah, you can do that. But it's and. It's everything else that you do, just like branding. It's not just
Right.
do you send an email once? Yeah, great. But you need to do this consistently in multiple ways. You need to reach out people where they want it. So once they're in the app, they see all the different communication that you have. And then guess what? You get more referrals, you get more reviews. And we've now done this for 4 years. And we have our top clients are just below $1,000 cost of acquisition again and again and again. Like it's now just like I mentioned, you need to build your solar company, become process oriented. SunVoy is now process oriented, and we can guarantee now a solar installer. You start here, we tell you what to do, you will get the result. That's it.
Right.
It's that simple. Like it's input, output. Like you get more referrals and reviews with a lower cost of acquisition. Just follow what we've done for a lot of other installers, and we know it works. That's it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like it's just that simple.
This is something I keep coming back to is that solar is just too good at what it does. And so like there's probably so many people the average solar installer has installed for that are just they're happy with it, but they've forgotten that it exists because they don't have to pay for power now and they went solar years ago, so they don't even think about the thing on their roof anymore. And it's like your partner says, he asks a lot of people who installed their solar, and a lot of people can't even remember because they've had so
Hmm.
many home service companies come through in that time. So, yeah, that's the power of a good brand.
Yeah, it's that was also one moment where I thought I need to do something. I asked my son-in-law, not my son-in-law, my brother-in-law, who installed solar in his house in San Diego. I referred him from an Amicus member. I knew them well and was like, hey, I'll put you in contact with the CEO and so on. And everything went great. Well, I heard from to the solar installer that everything went great. So at Thanksgiving, I saw my brother-in-law. It's like, so how did it go? Like, oh, great. It's like, all right. It's like he was going to pull up his manufacturer's app to show me how much he was producing. It's like, did you refer to any of your neighbors? It's like, yeah, I think so. It's like, who installed your solar system? He couldn't remember the name. It's like, what's the chance of you actually giving a referral if you don't even remember the name of the installer? Like
Yeah,
0.0 chance.
yeah.
So that's when I knew we had to do something about it because forgetting the solar installer after more maybe not everyone, right? But by a big margin. Every solar installer that I know is really working hard to please that homeowner. And it's construction.
Mm.
Any type of construction, things can go wrong. And when things go wrong, we own up to it. The amount of money we spend on repairing or replacing glass tables, for example, where an impact drill fell off the roof on yet another glass table. Yeah, we did a lot to replace those things when we broke it. We owned up to it. So after all that hard work to please a customer, make sure they're happy, they forget your name. Man, I mean,
Right. Well, to bring it home, I ask everyone the same question to end, and this is
all right.
because I was at my grandma's 80th birthday party a couple months ago, and after that party, I was writing a LinkedIn post about it, and I realized that 80 years means she was born 10 years after the Rural Electrification Act. So all we knew back then was how to burn things to create electricity. Solar didn't even exist the way we know it today.
Hmm.
And within her lifetime, she's seen the invention of the PV cell. So she's seen Jimmy Carter put panels on the White House. She's seen solar go from this novelty far off thing to something that tons of people have. Like the price per watt has fallen, I think it was hundreds of dollars per watt in the beginning, and it's now fallen very, very low. Um, and so I am curious, just to spitball, moonshot, what do you believe clean energy will look like in 80 years? 80 years from
Mm.
now.
Well, before going to the next 80 years, I can tell you that when I was 15 years old, I went to the library to read like a scientific magazine. It was expensive at the time, so I went to the library to read for free. And there was an article there that said like if electric vehicles will one day exist, there will be so much power in those vehicles that when you actually drive home and you plug it in, it's not the home charging your car, it's your car charging the home. And the
Right.
little picture on the article was actually a kind of futuristic looking car, and it was in the nature, and so like you can power whatever you want when you're in the middle of nature. And
Right.
I know you're outdoors a lot, so
Yeah.
there is so much power in electric vehicle. You could power entire concerts by that electric vehicle. There's so much power in it. And guess what? There is a revision out of Maine and Vermont, and they actually did a concert with electric vehicles, the Ford F-150.
Nice.
So what I read as an article as a little guy, that there is so much power in vehicles. I mean, if your car's ever been like broken and you need to push it, you know how heavy those cars are. Now that
Yeah.
goes at 100 miles an hour for many, many hours. I mean, there's just to give you a sense, there's so much power in those electric vehicles that it was futuristic article, and I actually now live enough to see it happen. So that is my
Yeah.
first answer to your question. The second answer, I think where we are heading to, it's where the grid was created because you needed a very heavy, a high investment to generate power in a centralized place to then distribute that energy to whoever wants to use it. And we made some laws that, we give a monopoly to those companies and everybody has a subscription model to
Yeah.
make the business work. I think we now can harness the power of the sun where your solar panels, if you think of it, are kind of like a wireless receptor of fusion energy. We still don't really have fusion energy on this planet, as far as I know, although there are some plans in Virginia, I believe, to get some fusion energy going. But so far, the only fusion that we have is from the sun. But guess what? We capture that energy with our solar panels. You can put solar panels wherever you want. You don't need a distribution grid. So it's kind of a wireless system, so to speak. Um, and I think where we are heading is that with so much solar being installed, I think it's a race for the first nation to be fully powered by sun, wind, run on batteries. And then you have a competitive advantage to having an entire industry with very cheap electricity. As we know,
Yeah.
once you install enough solar, it's the cost of the maintenance is very low. So
Mm.
any country that runs on renewable energy has a competitive advantage because all the energy is free and energy can be used to do all types of stuff. So that's I think where we are going to also for homeowners is you have your
Mm.
independence.
Yeah, and you end up completely sovereign too. You don't owe anyone for power, and you're not beholden to anyone. So thank you for coming on today, Hervé. And where can you be found if people want to find you?
Go on sunvoy.com.
Perfect. Yeah, and if you're watching the video, you'll see the SunVoy logo right behind his head. It looks like that. That's how you spell it.
And on top of that, for people that want to get started with marketing, we have a free tool to go through your website to analyze what you have going well on your website, how to make it better. It's a free tool that we have. We are obviously experts in marketing, and we look at how to build a good website. Because if you're new to this and you want to build like a website and just put everything on there that you can think of, maybe you can use a guide made by professionals about some advice. We don't build a website for business. This is a free tool that we give away since we have a lot of experience in it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And for everyone who's listening, that's been This Week in Solar. I'll talk to you next week.